What's up guys, Ray back with XTech Tactical for another overview video. Today we're going to be covering the new Smith Wesson M&P 2.0, the 5-inch HD model, compared against the Canik Rival S. Cool, so let's get started with basic safety checking, making sure these firearms are unloaded and clear. And we are good to go on both of these guns. Taking a look at the Rival S, unloaded no magazine, 2 pounds, 7.7 ounces. And with an unloaded 18 round magazine, 2 pounds, 10.5 ounces. And with a fully loaded 18 round magazine, 3 pounds, 1.8 ounces. And our extra round on top takes us to 3 pounds, 2.4 ounces. And again, double checking on the Rival S, making sure we're unloaded and clear. And grabbing a quick trigger reading. Looks like we're coming in at 3.3 pounds. Measurements on the Rival S here. Looks like we're coming in right about 8 1/8 inches there. Lowest point on there, from the lowest point of the magazine to the top of the slide, looks like we're coming in right at 5 5/8 inches. Let's take a quick reading on the width. Looks like we're coming in right at 1.262 inches on the width there of the frame. All right, so let's do a quick double check here, making sure these firearms are unloaded and clear before we start grabbing some trigger readings. And grabbing at the lowest point we can on that trigger. Looks like we're coming in at a 4.44 pound press for the 2.0. So the 2.0 unloaded, no magazine inside, 2 pounds, 3.2 ounces. So with the unloaded 17 round magazine, it takes us up to 2 pounds, 6.2 ounces. And with a fully loaded 17 round magazine, we're looking at 2 pounds, 13.1 ounces. And our one extra round on top jumps us up to 2 pounds, 13.6 ounces. So measurements from the 2.0, tip of the muzzle to the furthest point back, looks like we're hitting right about 8 inches approximately. And from our lowest point on the magazine to the top of our slide, looks like we're coming in right about 5 3/8 inches. And grabbing a quick reading on the widest point of the frame, looks like we're coming in at 1.2845 inches. So the back straps on the M&P are interchangeable as well, so you can adjust that if you have larger hand sizes like mine, to give you something else to kind of fill out the grip, make it a little more comfortable and ergonomic for you. So there is a nice touch that they added that in, as well as the texturing on the frame here. I think that's a major upgrade over the other metal models. That's nice that they put that on there and give you some extra traction as well. The front strap is also textured with that same kind of aggressive feel that you get on the back strap, but I will say that the front is slightly more aggressive than the back strap there. So it will give you good traction and kind of keep the gun in place. The trigger shoe is the kind of what you see in most of the 2.0s with their flat face trigger shoe that they updated along the way. So that is nice that they offered that, as well as the bladed safety tab inside of there as well. Slide release is going to be ambidextrous on both sides of the firearm there. The magazine release is interchangeable, but it is not set up to be fully ambidextrous out of the gate. But if you're a lefty, you can swap that over if you would like to, and it'll be easily set up for you. You also get 3 pick rail slots here. They didn't extend the dust cover out fully to meet the slide, but it does give you enough attachment points to add your weapon mounted lights and things of that sort if you want to put that on your gun and set it up that way. It's also optic ready out of the box, allowing you to direct mount a lot of optics as well. And there are aftermarket plates and accessories and things like that if you have something that's not your standard footprints, to be able to mount that onto there. Serrations are nice on the M&P 2.0, the HD here. You do get so serrations on the 2.0 are also very nice. They do roll it to the top of the slide a little bit on the corners there to give you some traction running the top of the slide. They are not your straight cuts. They are kind of M&P's or Smith's kind of scallops or whatever you call them. So you do get a lot of bite and traction whenever you reach on that, just by how they cut them on that angle in there. So kudos to them for carrying that over and providing a good traction point. Sights, iron sights out of the box. You do get blacked out rears with a vibrant big front dot on there. That is a setup that I prefer over having dots going across the back. I like the blacked out rear and the easy to notice and pick up front sight there. That is a night sight, so it will glow in low light. So I feel like they hit all the points you need to hit. The Canik is going to come with replaceable side panels and back straps here. Out of the box, they give you this wooden one on this particular variant. The texturing on the actual panels is not the most aggressive at all. It is kind of sleek, but it is a nice aesthetic touch on there. Canik is one of those companies that has nice ergonomics, and it doesn't lose it when you come to the metal frame here. So one of the things we will notice between the two, on the trigger guards, the Canik does have a double undercut here, whereas the M&P has just a single undercut, and there is no other relief here for your other hand. But with the thinness of this and the feel, you don't really notice it or need it, but it is a nice touch that the Canik does offer that. Neither of them have texturing on the bottom of the trigger guard, so kind of a wash there. The Canik has texturing and checkering on the front strap of the trigger guard, whereas the M&P is sort of smooth. The checkering on the front strap of the Canik as a whole is pretty nice. It is kind of aggressive, so it does give you grip on there. So the Canik trigger is a flat face trigger shoe here. It is very nice, and that is a very crisp trigger, breaking under 4 pounds consistently, typically under 3.5. The trigger guard is squared off and double undercut, so that's a nice touch to be able to allow you a space for your support hand to kind of ride along the frame there. The rail on the Canik, you do get a couple of nice Picatinny slots there. It does not extend to the full front of the slide, but you get 4 slots, whereas the M&P only offers you 3. So I'll give the nod to Canik for adding the extra slot there for you. Serrations on the Canik, they win, no way around it. These are super aggressive serrations, and they pretty much wrap the entire slide. So you can pretty much grab onto this almost anywhere, and you're going to get traction and be able to run that slide with little to no effort. The Canik also has slide releases on both sides of the gun, so that is ambidextrous in that capacity. The magazine release, however, is going to have to be switched if you want to put it on the other side, but you can set it up for a lefty so you're not left out and hung to dry. That also has an extended magazine release on the Canik, so it is nice to show that it is nice to see that they have that extend so far out, more geared towards competitive shooting than defense purposes. But if you're looking for something for a competition, making it easy for you to drop your mags and reach that magazine release. Capacity between the two, the M&P is going to come with 17 round mags, and the Canik is going to come with 18 round mags. So you get 1 extra round with the Canik, so I'll give the nod to Canik for that extra round. So as far as the two guns go, if you're looking for something geared towards competitive use, I will say the Canik has the edge on that overall. Something that's more of a defense or a duty side of things, I will say the M&P 2.0 takes the cake in that regard. Both feel good in the hands. I'm more partial to the streamlined aspects of the M&P 2.0 myself, although the Canik is a very nice feeling gun in the hand. Aftermarket support between the two, the M&P is going to be the front runner in that regards. You do have more support for this than you do for that, although the Canik is starting to pick up some traction and you're starting to see more offerings for it. Both of these have different magazine offerings out there that you can pick up, extended magazines to add more ammunition, things of that sort. And of course, XTech Tactical has you covered with the M&P 2.0 magazines and your +5 extensions. So you can get the MTX magazine here that is pre-installed with the 5-round base plate on it, or you can buy the 5-round extensions and put it onto your own magazines yourself. All right, guys, that wraps up another one for us today, covering the new Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 in the 5-inch HD variant, as well as the Canik SFx Rival S. Let us know which one of these interests you. Are you looking for something that's more competition oriented? Are you thinking about something more defensive oriented? Which one would you choose and why? Something that's in America, something coming out of Turkey? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.